Members of Congress are telling it all to the MeidasTouch Network. As you know, the MeidasTouch Network has just opened up our Washington, D.C. Bureau, and Pablo Manríquez has joined the MeidasTouch Network, and he's on Capitol Hill every single day asking members of Congress from both parties, Congress members and senators, the questions that you want to hear answered. Pablo Manríquez was on Capitol Hill today, speaking with members of Congress, and let me show you what went down. Democratic Congress member Meidas was asked by Manríquez, what do you make of Republican efforts to increase ICE funding? We want every member of Congress to go on the record about this question because ICE needs to be defunded right now, not funded. Let's be clear about that. Play this clip.
Congressman, what do you make of Republican efforts to increase ICE funding yet again through the appropriations process? Obviously, they received a windfall through the Big Beautiful Bill Act.
Well, first of all, I mean, just look at what's happening with DHS, with ICE, and with Secretary Noem. There's no control over what's happening in our communities and needs to be put to a stop. With respect to funding, when they were cutting health care for millions of Americans with the cut to Medicaid, they were talking about fraud, waste, and abuse. Just look at how Secretary Noem is running DHS, running ICE, and if you believe what they said about healthcare, you should have the same standards for immigration enforcement. So no, there should be no more money for ICE. There needs to be accountability for ICE. We need to do that before another fucking dollar spent on them.
And do you think that ICE funding should be a red line issue for Democrats in the appropriations negotiations ahead?
Look what happened yesterday. They killed an American citizen, a mother, right in broad daylight. So yes, I do think it needs to be a red line for us because we can't allow this harm to happen in our communities. We've tried to stop it. We've tried to do oversight. We need to continue to use every tool possible. Appropriations is definitely something that we have to use.
Next, Manríquez spoke with Democratic Congress member Magaziner from Rhode Island. Let's play this clip.
What do you make of Kristi Noem calling Renee Good a domestic terrorist?
Kristi Noem's an idiot, right? Like she went on TV before any of the facts were in. She made up this story on TV about ICE agents trying to dig their truck out of the snow or something, which was clearly false. Like she didn't even realize that there was going to be video of what happened when she went up and gave a false story. Like, you know, everybody in the Trump administration lies, but she's not even good at the lying, right? And we've seen that over and over again. So it would be ridiculous. It would be, funny if it wasn't so sad and tragic because actual people's lives are being ruined and in some cases ended by the lawlessness of the administration. And again, like if they had just done what they said they would do and just focus on people who had serious criminal records, no one would be complaining, but they can't help themselves. Stephen Miller has this agenda of trying to hit this artificial quota of the number of people he wants to remove from the country. And so they're just being completely indiscriminate, and it's wrong.
Yep. He called Kristi Noem an absolute idiot. Then Manríquez spoke with the ranking member in the House Oversight Committee, Democratic Congress member Robert Garcia. Let's play this clip.
Given your unique perspective into the problematics of this agency, what do you make of Republican efforts to increase ICE funding yet again through the appropriations process?
I mean, look, I think ICE right now is a rogue agency. And it is horrific what they're doing. They can't be trusted. And it's also, they are causing so much harm to other law enforcement agencies that are trying to do good. I've actually talked to I was a mayor of Long Beach. I had 650 police officers that I worked with when I was mayor of my city. Vast majority were hardworking folks that were trying to do good in the community. And I've talked to many of them since this incident, and they're horrified the way that incident makes law enforcement look. And so most law enforcement folks think what's happening with ICE, the masking, the taking of citizens, the attacks on people, throwing them to the ground, that's just harmful to most folks. So I think folks can agree that what's happening right now is the horrific way to approach.
Next up, we spoke with MAGA Republican Congress member Troy Nehls, who has his cigar looking like the villain, like the Penguin or something from Batman movies. Here, play this clip.
This stuff can stop if the left is fueling the flames. Tim Walz is an absolute bozo. He's not helping the situation. I mean, when you call ICE Gestapo, and all that other stuff, you're fueling the flames.
Next up, Democratic Congresswoman Ansari spoke with the MeidasTouch Network. Let's play this clip.
Congresswoman, what do you make of Republican attempts to increase ICE funding yet again, this time using the appropriations process?
It's egregious. There's absolutely no way that I will be voting for any funding for ICE. I don't think any Democrat should vote to increase, or any member of Congress should vote to increase funding for a rogue agency that literally just murdered a 37-year-old woman, Renee Good. They are out of control. There's zero accountability.
More from Democratic Congressmember Garcia, who's been leading the way on the investigations into Trump's cover-up of a child sex trafficking ring of the Epstein files. Here's what Congressmember Garcia had to say about if Donald Trump thinks this is over, if Trump thinks that the cover-up that he's doing with the MAGA Republicans has been successful by them not turning over the Epstein files, well, Donald Trump is deeply mistaken. Let's take a look at what Congressmember Garcia says. Play this clip.
Obviously, over Christmas, the Justice Department failed to release the full Epstein file that people were waiting for. They seem to be in particular protecting Donald Trump and his friends. What can you do as ranking member of the Oversight Committee to get these files out to the American people that, you know, Thomas Massie and others have been fighting so hard to, you know, see the light of day?
Look, I think first, Tom Massie and Ro Khanna have been like real heroes in helping us move this forward. And Ro Khanna, of course, is a member of the Oversight Committee, which we're really proud of. Right now, there's a lot of efforts that are happening all at once. There's a legal effort in the courts. We're also moving, of course, to looking at ways of holding Pam Bondi herself accountable for her not getting the files released. They're grossly right now violating the law by not getting all of these files to the Congress. The Senate has taken actions. Pam Bondi is going to be coming in front of some committees next month, I believe. And so there's a lot happening. And we're actually right now taking testimony in from survivors, some other people involved. So our work on the Epstein case is just starting and moving forward. And Donald Trump thinks it's over. He doesn't really understand the breadth of what we're doing here. There's so much new information about Mar-a-Lago, what their role was in the trafficking of girls. There's so much happening. And so all that will come out, the truth will come out, and we're just working hard to make sure that people understand that we want justice for the survivors.
Next, Congressmember Garcia is asked about Mr. Wexner, the billionaire benefactor of Epstein, who Garcia was able to subpoena yesterday. As a ranking member, while it's hard to get subpoena power, Garcia was able to wrangle some MAGA Republicans to support this. Here, play this clip.
Well, not to give away the playbook, but I guess what are some questions that you might have for Mr. Wexner and these associates?
Look, I think for Mr. Wexner, I think it's important for us to understand why was there such a financial relationship between the two? What services was Jeffrey Epstein providing? We want to know what anybody knows about Jeffrey Epstein's horrific crimes and actions as it relates to the trafficking of women and girls. So that's at the center. We want justice for the survivors, and survivors themselves have actually talked about Mr. Wexner. They're the ones that have brought up his name in both public and in some private conversations.
Then we heard from Arizona Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva. Here's what Manríquez asked Grijalva. Play this clip.
What do you make of Donald Trump and of Kristi Noem especially labeling Renee Good as a domestic terrorist?
You know, I mean, what they're trying to do is not make us believe our own eyes. Like, we're critical thinkers in America. Like, I can't think of any other situation with any other president that we'd have so many people blindly believing a narrative that we can clearly see is inaccurate. So there were so many cameras there that the facts are the facts. And they did the same thing with me in saying that, you know, I wasn't pepper sprayed. But then later on I was. And if I was, it was because the person in front of me was being aggressive. The person in front of me was media. And so I don't believe anything that comes out of that department. And I don't think anyone else should either. Be critical thinkers. And there has to be an investigation. And there has to be consequences.
More from Grijalva right here. Let's play it.
What do you make of Republican attempts to increase ICE funding yet again, this time through the appropriations process?
You know, I mean, we clearly see in so many situations as recent as yesterday that ICE is completely unchecked, They have no rules, no regard for the Constitution or the law or people's rights. And so there has to be a check and balance, because that is a completely rogue agency right now. Any increased funding means that they are going to be hiring more people. That when I look at situations just like the one that I was in Tucson, the one we saw video of in Minnesota, they're escalating situations. It's almost like they're looking for more ways to create headlines and violence. And now they are shooting conscientious observers. And that was something that we've always, as far as I can remember, honored people who were doing that. I've encouraged people in so many different spaces to say, if you have the privilege of being a citizen, of not worrying about deportation, stand up for those who don't have a voice. And that's literally what Miss Good was doing.
Going back to the Penguin from Batman, MAGA Republican Troy Nels. Here he is right here being asked some additional questions. Let's play this clip.
And all I would say is to all the people out there that don't agree with this administration, don't feel we should enforce federal immigration law, I just recommend that you comply with officers' instructions. The point is,
but she wasn't an immigrant. She was a citizen.
I get it. I'm just talking about anybody in general, American citizens, non-Americans. If you comply, you will not die.
Okay. They did tell her to move her car, and she moved her car, so she was complying in essence.
That's it.
Got it.
Yeah, but when you're moving the car forward, how about just put your hands up, let the guy get out of the damn vehicle. Get out of the vehicle. So she got into that flight or fight mode. That's what she did. That's what people tend to do. If you get in a situation like that, it's fight or flight.
It's kind of unconscious reaction.
More from Democratic Congress member Seth Magaziner. Let's play it.
Immigration enforcement through the One Big Beautiful Bill Act in July. What's your message to your GOP colleagues? Is this something that Democrats should be fighting back against?
Well, first of all, they haven't spent all the money they already gave themselves, not even close. But the bigger point is that Republicans in the Trump administration have been lying to the American people from day one about what they are doing. They said they were going to go after the worst of the worst and violent criminals and all of that. But by their own data, by their own admission, the vast majority of people that they have detained and deported are people who had no criminal record, people who had no removal order, certainly no violent criminal record. They are going after grandmothers. They are going after just working people trying to make a living and provide for their families. And of course, yesterday, tragically killed a U.S. citizen on her way home after dropping off her kid at school. So, before there's any conversation about money, we got to get to the core of the issue here, which is that they are lying to the American people about what they are doing and who they are targeting.
Then we heard from MAGA Republican Congress member Tim Burchett, who was asked by Pablo Manríquez, do you think Kristi Noem got ahead of her skis by... And Pablo wasn't even able to finish the question before Burchett's like, I've got no comment. Play this clip.
A crime from the videos that you've seen?
From one angle, maybe. From another angle, definitely not.
Okay. So it needs to be investigated, it sounds like. Do you think that Kristi Noem got out kind of ahead of her skis by, calling it all these things?
I have no comment on Ms. Noem.
Got it.
More from Congressmember Robert Garcia about Les Wexner. Let's play it.
So, Congressman, you have successfully led the subpoena for Lex Wexner and some other seedy Trump associates. Tell us what have you accomplished and what are the next steps?
Look, these are actually really important subpoenas. We've been trying to get these subpoenas for months, and we actually were able to force Republicans on oversight into a vote on a bunch of amendments they were trying to make. So really great. So look, Les Wexner was Epstein's sole billionaire benefactor for a long time. Probably no one knows more about Epstein's movements, about the money coming in and out. He was a huge part of Epstein's life. And so getting him in is going to be really important. So he'll be sitting in front of the Oversight Committee. And then the two executors of the Epstein estate, basically Epstein's former lawyer and accountant, will also going to be now in front of the Oversight Committee because of this Democrat effort. So we're really excited to listen to them because we want justice for the survivors. We want to ensure the truth comes out to the American public. It was a huge win, I think, for the Oversight Committee.
And then Congressmember Garcia talked to us about how every American should be outraged about what is happening in Minneapolis. Play this clip.
And on ICE, obviously this is a rogue agency that is getting a lot more attention today than it was even just yesterday morning before the murder of Renee Good.
Right.
You've created the Master Ice Tracker. Can you tell us a little bit about, what kind of traffic you've been getting? What are some things that are incoming? Like an update.
I mean, first, I think the murder that we all saw with our own eyes is horrific, disgusting. Every American should be outraged by what happened in Minneapolis. And the fact that there's going to be no accountability or that the DOJ wants to investigate it themselves is insane. They can't be trusted to investigate anything. It's local folks on the ground, local law enforcement should be the ones leading an investigation as to what happened with federal partners. That's not what's happening right now. We're working, of course, within right now oversight also to put all of our information about possible misconduct and misconduct that's happening across the country into one place. We've worked with a lot of national immigration groups, advocates, in putting this master enforcement dashboard together. It's every day we add to it, and so that's an important way that we can document what's happening. Because at the end of the day, when we have the ability to hold folks accountable, especially in the majority, every single person that's caused harm to the American public or to people needs to be held accountable, which is why we're collecting the information.
Well, there you have it, folks. If you like the work that we're doing here at the MeidasTouch Network's DC Bureau and you want to support our work, go to MeidasPlus.com. That's our Substack, MEIDASPLUS.com. Subscribe there, support the growth of this independent media platform, now with the same, if not more capabilities than corporate news. Bye-bye, corporate news, and thank you for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.